Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Power Network. It's Florida woMAN Friday, and today we're talking about two of Florida's most infamous names finally ending up under the same roof. Donna Adelson has officially arrived at Lowell Correctional, where our favorite viral inmate, Sarah Boone, the Boone Goone herself, is already locked in at the Annex. So, will Donna and Sarah cross paths? Could they actually end up cellies? And be honest, if they did, who's walking away in that fight? Stick around. I'm rolling credits while the rest of the Power Crew drifts in. Shout out to my replay crew and my Dragonflies. I love you, babies.
Pick me up off the floor, I've fallen down.
And if you're not subscribed, why are you not subscribed? I would really, really, really love to have you as a Power subscriber. If you really like my content, be sure to become a Dragonfly, and that's our membership, and it's $2.99 a month. I release all my videos early. We have special emojis over in the chat room. I kind of share things ahead of time with my Dragonflies, and I go live sometimes just for the Dragonflies. It's a way that I can support you guys and give you more content, and it's a way for you to support our channel. It's $2.99 a month, and I would love to have you. Okay, and be sure to subscribe. I will put the link down in the YouTube show notes if you're interested in becoming a Power Dragonfly. So what do you guys think about Donna's new move to Lowell Correctional Facility? Do you think that, hold on a second. Do you think that they're going to ever cross paths? Do you hope they cross paths? I know in all reality, Donna asked to be put in Miami prison because she doesn't want to be with her co-conspirator who testified, the Christina Magna. I can never say her name right. She doesn't want to be put in the same prison as her, but all of the Florida inmates have to go through the same Lowell intake center. So she is currently there. I'm not really positive if they can see the new intakes that come through the intake center, but I did see over on Pretty Lies and Alibis, they have Donna Adelson moved What Can She Expect as a lifer. And then they talked to another lifer who had insight. And we've also spoken to Lindsay from the Lindsay Show. And she did some time at Lowell, and she's told us a little bit about what our Boone Goone can expect. And so I thought we would take a quick peek at that today. I just did a 3-hour live doing my paranormal stuff. So we're going to just do a short one of this Florida woMAN Friday. If you guys could just start warming up your fingers and dancing them right up to the hearts and thumbs up button. Today we're coming to you on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So if you could just give us love from the platform you're viewing us on, that would help us out tremendously. It helps go out into the algorithm. Party out there. Bring more interesting people. Bring more people that hate Sarah Boone back to our party. No, just kidding. I was accused of being a pro Sarah Boone channel, which I never knew any of those existed, to be honest with you. So, stranger things have happened. We could get some pro Boone people over, Let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay. All right, so the name of the game here is that we will watch and read a few things to get our story across. We don't always read everything in its entirety. We'll stop and start things. We'll read over it or talk over it. But what I will do is put everything that we view during this live over in the YouTube show notes. I do this for fair play use and to cite my sources. So we're just going to start it off with going back in time a little bit to that moment when Donna was sentenced to life. Also, you guys, today, well, I'm not even, this week, I've got a bad baby bird. So he is being spicy as all get up. And he's going to be joining us in a moment because he'll start screaming if I leave him out in the other room. But I wanted to put him out in the other room so I could do the intro without the little tweet in the background. But you will hear him. You will hear him. He might come over and say hi too. He's a little green cheek conure, and his name is Junebug Cash. The Cash is after his dad. His dad was named Cash. So but I'm going to start this. I'm going to go open the door and let him come back in.
Level of planning and coordination to bring the murder of Professor Markell to fruition was significant in this case. These were not crimes of chance or opportunity, and these crimes also required you to conspire with your son and others. You certainly can choose to deny your involvement and maintain innocence. The court finds the evidence in this case is clear. You will be sentenced accordingly this afternoon. The jury has found you guilty on charges of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and solicitation to commit first-degree murder, and the court previously adjudicated you guilty as to these same charges on September 4th of this year. On count one of the indictment for first-degree murder, you are hereby sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole or release.
Oh my God.
Pursuant to sections 7,
I'm
8.
sorry, she didn't do that in the sentencing, but remember when she did it in the trial? Oh my God. Like she didn't expect it.
2.04 and 775.082 sub 1 sub A for statutes. On count two of the indictment, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, you are hereby sentenced to 30 years in the Department of Corrections that will run consecutive to count one. The court will also sentence you to 30 years in the Department of Corrections on count three. Counts 2 and 3 are to run concurrent with each other, but consecutive to count one. As the fees and costs, the clerk can please announce those at this time.
$2,100 as a fine pursuant to section 775.083, $105 as the 5% surcharge required by section 938.04, $20 as a court cost pursuant to section 938.06, crime stopping trust fund, $3 as a court cost pursuant to section 938.01 subsection 1, criminal justice trust fund, $50 pursuant to section 938.03, Crimes Compensation Trust Fund, $225 pursuant to Section 938.05, Local Government Criminal Justice Trust Fund, $2 as a court cost pursuant to Section 938.15, County Criminal Justice Education, $50 as a court cost pursuant to Section 775.083, Subsection 2, County Crime Prevention, $65 as a court cost pursuant to Section 939.185, County Additional Court Costs, and $3 as a court cost pursuant to Section 938.19, Teen Court Assessments.
Is there any lawful objection by the defense to these assessments?
There.
They will be assessed at this time. The cost of prosecution, the court will reserve jurisdiction.
Okay, so that was Donna being sentenced, and our Donna was officially headed to the Florida Women's Reception Center. I've been really trying to build up our community section. Have you checked out our community section over on Parawoman Radio on the Power Network? I like to do a power trivia game, a brain game, but this isn't one of those. But yesterday I threw up her new mugshot and I said, hey guys, Donna Adelson is officially headed to the Florida Women's Reception Center in Ocala, the same place our Boone Goone, Sarah Boone, is housed. She's already been processed into DOC custody after that life sentence dropped, making her the 5th person tied to Dan Markel's murder, now behind bars. 2 of Florida's most infamous women under the same roof, poetic or just plain Florida. What do you think, Power Crew? Justice served. She did say she wanted to be housed closer to Miami and away from Kathleen Magbanua, 3 of Florida's most infamous and one small prison. And so there you have it. There is her new mugshot. That's an old one. And this was an article, that was the article that I read that stated that she had asked to be housed in Miami. And I think the judge granted her, not necessarily Miami, but that she would be housed away from Kathleen. But over on Court TV, before we go into the Pretty Lies and Alibis interview, over on Court TV, they're musing what prison she might be ending up in.
Welcome back. Now for what's trending in true crime. Mama Donna Adelson is waking up at her new temporary home, the Florida Women's Reception.
Let me stop real quick and come over and say hi to you guys. I see that some of you are starting to file in. Hi, Kim. Welcome back. Hello, baby. It's so good to see you. Hi, everybody that's listening out in the other regions, just hanging out, listening.
Center in Ocala, Florida. Now, it's unknown just how long she will stay there, but it's typically where female prisoners go after their sentencing before they are assigned to a permanent prison home. It's interesting to note that Catherine Magbanua is also at this facility, but she
Magbanua? It's not even Magnaba? Man, I'm really not saying it right.
She's in a different section, so it's unlikely that she and Mama Donna are going to cross paths there. Donna's defense team, we know, requested that she not serve time in the same prison as Catherine Magbanua, her son's ex-girlfriend. Right now, Donna can't have any visitors while she's being processed. A few months back, though, we saw her testify at a hearing about all the problems she was experiencing at the Leon County Jail. Let's watch.
I was assaulted by another inmate while I was here at the beginning of October.
October 2024.
Yes,
And when you say here, do you mean the Leon County Jail?
yes,
Okay. All right. Since you began experiencing that pain, since October of 2024, have you requested medical treatment?
yes.
And what has the response been?
They said they would take an x-ray, but in the meantime, I could have Tylenol.
So our question now.
I guess that's a lesson to not do a hit on your ex-son-in-law, because then when you get harmed in prison, they just give you an x-ray and a Tylenol.
Now is, where do we think Mama Donna will end up? Let's discuss that. Let's bring in Florida attorney John Phillips and criminology expert, author, and professor at St. Thomas University in Florida, Dr. Debbie Goodman. Good morning to you both. All right, so there are 4 major facilities that house female prisoners in Florida. As you both know, the defense is asking that Donna Adelson will be near Miami because she wants to be by husband Harvey. That would be the Homestead Correctional Institution in Florida City. So, Dr. Debbie, do you think they're going to honor that request?
Good morning, Julie and John. I don't think they're going to honor their request or what Donna's defense team is asking, because who among us would have sympathy for her? You know, this prima donna mentality that she's been exhibiting, Julie, throughout the entire process is so inappropriate and unfair.
Yes, that is so well said, Mommy Brown. She says, Lord help the guards that have to handle these two in one facility. Phew! Can you imagine the Karen-ness that's happening right now as we speak? I know, it's crazy, Junie, isn't it? It's just crazy. Huh? Why don't you take a nappy nap? Are you sleepy? Well, see, Donna, he said, what happened? Donna went to prison, the same prison as Sarah Boone, Junie. Can you believe it? Who do you think would win in a Sarah Boone, Donna Adelson fight? Tell us. Who would win? Donna or Sarah? Who do you think would win? I think it's hard to call. You what? Well, see, I think Sarah might. What happened? Well, see, I just told you what happened. I think Sarah might win only for the fact that she's younger and she's probably a little more spry than Donna. But in a game of wits, well, I was going to say Donna, but look at what Donna did. What do you guys think? Let's take it to the audience. Who do you guys think would win in a showdown between Donna and Sarah? Well, you're not making sense. So nobody wants to listen because I can't even. I'm your mom and I don't know what you're saying. He's trying to learn new words. He talks all the time. What, baby? I'm going to put my money on Sarah. Also, Sarah's been there a little bit longer. Not much, but I mean, she's got a little more time under her belt.
Favorable that those of us following this case can only have the sympathy and empathy for the Markle family. So I don't think she's going to South Florida. My best guess is she'll be at the Lowell Corrections Institute, which, by the way, a little fun fact, who else is there? Another high-profile female inmate whose case you covered, Miss Sarah Boone. And Ms. Boone, as the courties recall, was the affiliate of the suitcase murder, in which she is serving a life sentence for the second-degree murder of her boyfriend, George Torres. So I don't see prima donna Adelson heading to Miami anytime soon.
Dr. Debbie, what
would that, you guys, maybe she is going to be put with Sarah Boone. What do you guys think? I don't know. The plot thickens, Junie.
What a prediction you just gave us. Let's just take a moment. What if what you said comes true and we have prisoners Donna Adelson and Sarah Boone in the same facility? I just can't right now. John Phillips, I just, your thoughts on that idea.
You know, that is a good point. Donna is probably more evil, but Sarah just never quits. And Sarah has no self-awareness. She could never admit her wrongs. I don't know Donna as well as I know Sarah. So I'm only picking Sarah as my pony because Sarah's younger. That's the only reason. I mean, I think that, yeah, I think Donna could probably win if she were a little younger and maybe a little more spry. But I'm being really kind of ageist probably here. And the headache that would be, you know, they would probably maybe be really good friends at first, and then the fallout fight, woo! Everybody would suffer, I bet, and then they would be mortal enemies. Someone said in my comments the other day, who would win? They thought, and I'm sorry, I forget who said this, but it was really interesting. They said that Sarah Boone and Wade Wilson should be put together, and who would win? I was like, ooh, that's a mashup of the ages. Sarah Boone and Wade Wilson. I do think Wade Wilson would win that one, though. What, Baba? Birds are flat talkers, so he talks when I talk. Well, Well, I'm 57 and have some leg issues. So Sarah has got that on Donna for sure. I know I'm getting to that age. I'm turning 55 this year. And I'm at that age where like I'm really like weighing options. Like I don't think I want to do roller coasters. I don't think I want to bungee jump. I don't even think I really, well, I'm afraid of heights anyway, so I don't want to do anything that's up in the air. But I'm really at that age where I don't want to roller skate or rollerblade anymore. I do like to ride on the e-bike still, but yeah, really weighing that crap out these days. Those kind of people don't like others like them. Yes, yes, yes. You're right. Sarah sipping for Donna for money. I just flashed with a bandana around her head. What, baby? I'm having too much fun. I'm having too much fun with this one.
She stole my thunder. There's others that you've covered as well. Julie Schoenecker has been through there. Dalia DiPolito, I think, was one that was covered. There's a whole list. And the reason is this is the high security place. Lowell is the high security place. 3,000 women approximately are housed there. It's the one that fits her, and fits her situation. Certainly she's in the Women's Florida Reception Center, which is the mental health and kind of pre-prison, like this is where we're trying to figure out where somebody fits. But given she's already alleged abuse, that could work, against her actually, because they may say, all right, well, you want more security? Well, Lowell is right there where we've even been looked at by the DOJ in 2020. Because of abuse allegations, you're sure to fit in here.
Great points. John, thank you for that. So let's take a look back at one of those clips from that hearing where Donna had so many complaints.
I'm muted. I was muting because Junie was talking, but I feel like I was hoping that we were going to get the judgment from Judge Jackson this week, but it's Friday. So, but it's still 3:30. We might still get it. I don't think the court closes till 4, but wouldn't that be a dream if we could get it and have some weekend reading? But hopefully we'll get it early next week, that judgment. I'm on pins and needles waiting for it. But I really have faith in Judge Jackson.
It's about what was happening in the Leon County Jail.
It's cute. Okay.
You don't, and the word is snitch. You don't snitch. You don't tell on anyone because you'll be sorry you did. And I've seen that. And so, I didn't even tell you for a while. I wasn't going to tell anybody. I didn't want to tell anybody. I didn't want. She's a big woman, and I was afraid of her.
In the script. Okay, so I'm having a little trouble hearing you.
I think she will because she planned the hit. I think that's where if she's going to Lindsay from the Lindsay show, we had her on and she was at Lowell for a year and a half, but this was like 10 or 13 years ago. But I think it's still, it wouldn't change in this aspect. But if you're going to stay long term at Lowell, she says you go to the Annex. So if we see Donna's classification as the Annex, that means she's going to be staying long term there.
Got me on camera. My earpiece came out. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the programs that are offered at the Homestead facility. Now, this is the facility that Mama Donna wants to go to. Okay, so if she gets her wish and she goes down to Miami.
Well, of course she wants to go because there's aerobics, beekeeping, God Behind Bars, law library, New Horizons service dog program, thinking for a change, and victim impact. I feel like the only people that should be allowed to go to those kind of institutions are the ones that are going to get out. Like, teaching them to be a good human being when they come out. But if you're a lifer and there's no possibility, I'm not saying like, you know, give them bread and water, but she doesn't need beekeeping. We don't need to be spending our tax dollars on beekeeping for Donna Adelson.
I'm laughing because come to your television set. Friends at home, if you're drinking coffee, come to the TV set, put your glasses on. This is worth a read. Look at some of these activities that Mama Donna could do. And maybe this is why she wants to go there. In addition to being close to Harvey, she could do aerobics. She could engage in beekeeping, a program called God Behind Bars. She needs that. The law library, New Horizons service dog program.
I mean, I feel like maybe every prison, not maybe, for sure, every prison should have this God Behind Bars. I mean, I feel like the only way out of negativity is through God, and you've got to figure out, my background is my BA is in sociology and psychology, and I've been a social worker for 20 years. I'm on disability now, so I'm not doing that because of my autoimmune and some psychological issues that developed from them. But I worked at, my first job, I worked as a foster care social worker, hardest job I ever did. Then after that, I worked at domestic shelters, my favorite jobs. But I also worked at substance abuse facilities. And I just feel like working with people with addictions, I've figured out that when I meet these people and they become whole and well again, it's like touching God. It's like they went to hell, came back, and are bright and light again and touching God. To me, that's the greatest example of God and the devil at work there is on our earth. So having a God behind bars is just, something I think should happen.
And then the last two, how about these Thinking for a Change? I'm sure she'd have a lot to say in that program if she still thinks that she's a victim somehow. And then Victim Impact. I hope they don't let her anywhere near that one. John Phillips, what do you think about these programs and Mama Donna potentially doing them?
I can see her now. These bees, they're chasing me. These bees.
The drama.
Doing that and then complaining about it. They put me with the bees. They're trying to kill me.
No, the drama, and that's, look, prison reform is a serious issue, like serious. The abuse, the lack of funding, the lack of, good meals, but you do the crime, you got to do the time. And, I find it hard to have sympathy, even though I have sympathy for inmates. I just find it hard to have sympathy.
Catherine's there right now. I don't know if they're going to be moving her or if they're going to be they can be at the same prison and be separated. I mean, I'm sure there's different dorms and, I'm sure they could be separated.
For her and seeing her, mess with bees versus, again, Lowell Correctional where she will learn, from other inmates and the coursework there.
Yeah.
More stringent.
Yeah.
Lindsay said it was hell on earth, the Lowell Correctional, but they had good food. I always remember the good food, which shocks me because I don't know. I still don't know if I believe they have good food because I'm a super picky eater and I just don't know. But what's good food to one person might not be good food to the next, right?
This would be great if she goes there. Lowell Annex, Sarah Boone and Catherine McBanawa. That's where she is as well, I've been told. So, okay, Dr. Debbie, back to these activities. I want to take a moment, just ask you what you think might be suitable for Mama Donna if she goes to Homestead.
Did they? Okay, well, I mean, but Donna does have, oops, I'm yelling, sorry. I don't know why I'm yelling so loud. But Donna does have to go through I think it's because this I like talking about this case. Donna does have to go through the reception center at Lowell, because everybody goes through it. So whether they decide to move, like, it would be wonderful if they just decided to move Kathleen out of spite for Donna. Like, we're not sending you to Miami. We'll send Kathleen to Miami, because isn't Kathleen going to get out? I don't think she's in there for life. So I think Kathleen should go to, and don't quote me on that one. And you guys, again, this is all my research, my opinion, for entertainment and educational purposes only. We do urge you to go out there and do your own research. So.
Right. I still think, Julie, based on what she's been convicted of, murder, conspiracy, solicitation, the environment really is designed to be punitive, and whether she participates in some of these activities or not, I would almost guess that she would not. I think she is somebody who, again, exhibits the conduct of being grandiose, narcissistic, again, the whole prima donna mentality that she has exhibited, that I would guess whatever facility she's in, she will stay unto herself, thinking that she's far above everybody else. She comes across as concerned and frightened. So I don't see her interacting much. I don't see her going to Miami. If she did, then yes, she has perhaps the family visitation, but I think she will spend the rest of her life playing checkers with Sarah Boone.
That would be something. Okay, so I did a quick search while we were doing that, and I asked AI, and it said at Donna Adelson's October 2025 sentencing, the judge agreed to recommend to Florida Department of Correction, DLC, that she not be housed in the same prison as Catherine. This recommendation was made at the request of the prosecution, which sought to ensure that Adelson and Magbanoa would be kept separate. Prosecutor Georgia Capelman asked the judge to recommend that Adelson be separated, so citing safety concerns. So it's been asked, he recommended it, but it looks like it's all up to the DOC. Yeah, I realized I was calling her Kathleen. Sorry about that. Donna's going to be Sarah's mommy. That's such a weird situation, isn't it? That they become moms, like the older ladies. But, I mean, it would make sense, too, because females are very herd-driven. It reminds me of the Johnny Depp trial and the bee. And then a bee stung me. That would be Donna. I think that they'd try to outdo each other in a way. They like to think of themselves as famous. That's true. Our Boone Goone likes to think she's the biggest Goonie of them all. I think they'd try to outdo each other in a way. They like to think they're famous. Donna's more famous, though. Sarah thinks she's more famous than she is. She isn't Jodi Arias level fame. Yeah, not as many people have heard of Sarah, because when I talk about Sarah to other people, if they haven't heard of the case, they're like, oh yeah, I think I've kind of heard of it. But my dog stepped on a bee. That's what it was, and then winced. So I don't know. What do you guys think? That would be great if they ended up playing checkers together. Let's move over to Pretty Lies and Alibis. It's one of my favorite channels, and I even watch her over on X. So let's go ahead and take a peek at that.
Buyers, welcome to another episode of Pretty Lies and Alibis. I'm Gigi. Good to have you here. It's Wednesday, October 15th. This month is flying by, y'all. I didn't do an episode yesterday. I took the time to kind of catch up on some sleep I've been missing.
Just so you know, like stopping this is Adelson Donna. We've got white female. Her birth date is she's an Aquarius. Initial receipt date 10/14/25. So she arrived there on the 14th. She's currently at the Florida Women's Reception Center.
It was great.
We did go over the reception center with Lindsay from the Linzer Show. I will link some of those shows if you want to know more about the Florida Reception Center, and as well as the Annex. We go over some of the day-to-day things about the Annex. Her current custody is pending. She's sentenced to life. Her confinement status, not in confinement. So it seems like maybe she's not in segregated. She's just amongst the other people. The visitation status, she's not as eligible. I don't think anybody in reception is eligible for visitation.
Raring to go today. We're going to go over my thoughts on Donna Adelson's sentencing. And for those of you that are newer to the channel, in the past, I have done some episodes in a series called Jail to Prison, which is what inmates can expect when they are making that switch from county jail to the big house. I have a contact who I've known since childhood who is a lifer in California. So clearly very different states with different circumstances. But what we're going to cover today about her experiences in the over 10 years she has been incarcerated in prison, and what she's seen is pretty universal. So just starting out with sentencing, y'all, there's just no words. I'm not sure between dumpster fire and hot mess express which phrase adequately describes Donna Adelson's sentencing. Maybe a bit of both, but I've never seen anything like it in my life. And just a reminder, Donna is the 5th person to be sentenced for the murder of Dan Markel.
Do you guys think there's going to be a 6th? Come on, Wendy. You are the next contestant to catch a predator or a hitman.
And as expected, she was sentenced to life without parole. The defense did ask for a downward departure on the lower counts. Those lower counts were conspiracy to commit murder and solicitation to commit murder. What is a downward departure? Judge Everett had the discretion to sentence Donna to a term of imprisonment below the range that's recommended by the state sentencing guidelines, and they based that on specific mitigating circumstances. This is often considered when the defendant has a minimal criminal history or minimal participation in the criminal conduct. But Judge Everett was like, nope, not going to do it. So she was sentenced to 30 years.
Did you guys think that he was going to do it? I kind of thought he would, but I mean, I shouldn't be surprised about Florida, but I am, because you never know, because there's the Casey Anthony on our books. You never know what's going to happen in Florida.
Years on counts 2 and 3. The first person that spoke was Dr. Graber. He's a former congressman. He's an OBGYN, and he loves to toot his own horn because the first 5 minutes of his statement was just self-serving, rambling, telling everything that he's accomplished in his life. But a couple of little key pieces of things he said. I believe she's innocent of these 3 counts, and we believe her. Good for you, Dr. Graber, but a jury did not believe her. He also said that Charlie exploited his mother. Another friend took the podium and said that he and his wife are still in shock of Donna's current circumstances and that Donna did not receive a fair trial in Tallahassee. He said had the trial been held elsewhere, she would have been found not guilty. There were a couple of letters read from friends of Donna's that were more in tune with what should be read at a sentencing hearing. And then Harvey got up to the podium. He accused Judge Everett and the jury of being biased. He accused the Markells of lying about not being able to see their grandsons. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, my blood pressure shot up when I heard him say that, because we all know after Dan's murder, Wendy denied Dan's parents access to these kids and even changed the kids' last names. They did not go to the funeral. And later on, the Markells successfully had the Markell Act passed in the Florida Senate in 2022. That was to expand
the Markell Act. And, you know, Harvey better be careful because he might be the 7th person, right? Or the 6th, and then Wendy's the 7th. So Harvey better watch his P's and Q's, because I have a sneaky suspicion Harvey's not as innocent as he would like us to think. But that's just my opinion, you guys.
grandparent visitation rights, and that passed by a vote of 112-3. This legislation allows grandparents to petition for court-ordered visitation if the other parent has been found guilty of wrongful death or is the victim of a homicide. So, sir, please sit down and stop lying. But back to his little blow-up. He said Donna's done nothing wrong. He said he sat in the courtroom and screamed in his mind, and he also screamed at the podium, as he listened to the state witnesses who told outright lies. At one point, Judge Everett did stop Harvey, asking if he's trying to re-argue the trial. He reminded Harvey this has nothing to do with the character of Donna. There was a brief little break there where Harvey...
Sarah was awful and is awful and continues to be awful. And I was very curious because working at the facility, I did notice that once people got sober, if they were good human beings, they became good human beings again. So I was, because alcohol can make people, it does make people do things that... And so I was very curious to see if Sarah Boone would get that good human glow up, but nah, she didn't get it. She didn't got it.
He regrouped with her attorney, and he finished up quickly by saying the judge is sending an innocent woman to prison. And he ended by saying, "You've taken my wife and you've taken my life as well. This is not justice. This is vengeance, and it's wrong." Okay, Harvey. Donna spoke as well. And first off, she tried to whip up some tears talking about Dan and how wonderful he was, but not a single one fell that I could see. She talked about his murder, saying he was being hunted, and she can't imagine the fear he had seeing a gun pointed at him, and points out when he dropped the kids off at daycare, he had no idea that would be the last time he would see his children. The children had no idea that would be the last time they saw their dad. And when he went to the gym, he had no idea that would be the last time he would ever exercise. She said she couldn't conceive of Dan's heroic efforts to stay alive after the shooting, and she said her heart was broken when Dan died. Then she kind of took a play from Harvey's handbook, blaming everybody but herself, blamed the trial being held in Tallahassee. She said the state switched who they say was the mastermind from trial to trial. She also said if she had knowledge of the plot to kill Dan, she would have stopped it. She goes on to ask where was the evidence of her involvement before the murder. Again, Judge Everett's like, stop. Are you trying to re-argue the trial? And he also reminds Donna the court can take into consideration her lack of remorse in her statement. Donna said it makes...
Well, I mean, I'm sure all of this just sealed our little Donna's fate, just like our Sarah Boone, who needed her 15 minutes of fame. She could have gotten off on 15 years. Yeah, I'm going there again, you guys. I can't, I haven't said it yet this live, so I'm going to say it. She could have only had 15 years. Our Boone Goone, she could have only, our Blaine Boone, our suitcase Sarah could have only been there 15 years less, probably because, they would have let her out earlier because she took up 5 years for the trial. So, I mean, these two are idiots in that sense that what a bumbling idiot this one is to plan this schmurder and involve so many people. Like the more people you involve, and I'm just saying this out of, because we research true crime, but to me, it seems like the fewer people you have involved, the better, because loose lips sink ships, and the more people you get involved, the more loose lips you get. So this one's an idiot, and Sarah Boone's an idiot for the reasons that we've all gone over. And they're both evil people. No, she can't admit her alcoholism. 1 minute she, it happened because the unfortunate incident that she, as she's now referring to it, the unfortunate incident occurred because she drank too much. She passed out. She's not an alcoholic. I do wonder if she's still drinking in prison. I would have to spend some time with her to be able to tell. Lindsay did say it's a little harder. It's harder to get the hooch in the jail, but now that they're in the prison, it's easier. So she might be back on the hooch. The hoochie coo. Okay, let's go back into this.
Makes you wonder if the jurors were sleeping when Sergeant Corbett was on the stand saying he could not place her phone at Charlie's house. And then she said she was never outside of Charlie's house. Ironic.
Okay, so we're going to actually pull it forward. I want to get to when she's talking about Donna and Sarah in prison. And like I said, the links will be down in the YouTube show notes. And if I could just ask you to check right this moment to see if you are subscribed to the Power Network, Parawomen Radio. Only 57% of you are subscribed. So if you could just check to see if you're subscribed. If you're not, if you could just hit that subscribe button for us, I promise you the water is always warm here. And if it ever gets a little too cold, you can just hit the unsubscribe button and be on your way. Nobody will follow you. No one will bother you. But while you're here, we'll all love on you.
Continue on your way. It's kind of like that, except this is for prison. And instead of orange juice, you might get like a spork and a plastic cup and a really thin mattress. This facility has the capacity for 1,235 inmates. It's very likely she could be here for a few weeks before being moved to her final destination. She did request a facility close to Miami, so it would be easier for Harvey to visit, and the judge had no problem with that recommendation, but in the end, it will be up to the Department of Corrections to decide where she is placed. So I have the inmate orientation handbook for the reception center. Later on, when she is permanently placed, we will get that handbook and go over the specific rules of that facility. It says this handbook is to help you understand the general rules, procedures, requirements, and routines.
Lucky number 19. Do you guys want to go over the rules and regulations? I know we've gone over these a few times, but I mean, it can't hurt. Let's just give ourselves a little refresher.
Of the reception center and your permanent institution. So this is a combination of the reception center and prison. Over the next few days, you will receive both written and verbal information that will be very important to you during your incarceration. The following is a list of several events that will take place on your first day as you're being processed through the transfer and receiving section. There is a verification of commitment information, inventory of personal property, your money deposited into the inmate bank in your name, the issuance of a Department of Corrections.
Hey, you guys, I know like Sarah Boone has, her little flying monkeys. Does Donna have flying monkeys, or who are Donna's? I mean, every prisoner has flying monkeys, which is just shocking and like unusual to me. But I wonder who has more flying monkeys and whose monkeys are more vicious.
ID number, a brief medical exam, a haircut and personal grooming, a shower and issue of state clothing, electronic fingerprints taken. You will have a state photo identification issued, and there will be an orientation on day-to-day living and working activities. Donna's not allowed visitors until...
I always envision that episode of Orange is the New Black where they're having the orientation and the chairs broke. Remember that? Did anyone else watch Orange is the New Black? It was one of my favorite shows.
Until she reaches the permanent facility she will spend the rest of her life at. Visits are typically scheduled for Saturdays and Sundays in prison. She will be given written and verbal instructions on the discipline, the grievance policies, and protection procedures. She will also get a number of exams, including physical, psychological, a spectrum exam, educational, and substance abuse screening. She'll be interviewed to gather...
A spectrum exam, is that for like autism? What is a spectrum exam? I feel stupid. I don't know what that is.
Information about her background, her education, her employment, criminal history, and then other information. Donna will complete this spectrum assessment, which asks her questions such as her thoughts, her feelings, and the dynamics of her relationships. They do encourage the inmate to answer honestly to best help design a plan specific for her. She would be given outer clothing, underwear, socks, and shoes. Her clothing can be exchanged twice a week. Upon arrival, she would have been assigned a specific housing area. She's required to keep that area clean, including her bunk, the floor, the wall, or foot lockers. She cannot have any perishable items.
That is what a spectrum, it's an assessment to see if a person evaluate traits or characteristics that exist on a continuum, most commonly in the context of assessing for autism spectrum disorder. I've never given one of those tests before.
So I'm not sure what happens to her commissary that was perishable that she brought. She can create a list of telephone numbers and can make collect calls. They do not have the tablets here at this transition facility. For
Oh,
personal hygiene, her hair has to be groomed and she cannot alter her appearance by changing her hair color. And general population inmates shower once a day. Now, if
I feel like I looked this up, but this might be for Dodge Correctional because I also follow the Watts case, and I feel like it said that they were coming soon. I feel like every facility is going to get them eventually.
was in
It
restricted
makes the prison money.
housing, she would be allowed to shower 3 times a week. Just like in jail, when in prison, if she needs to be seen by a nurse, she will fill out a sick call form. There is a copay to be seen. Once in prison, she'll have access to a law library and she can take academic courses. And if approved, she could also tutor other inmates. For personal property, she can have publications that are on the approved reading list. Now, years ago, I did a series called Jail to Prison or Life as a Lifer. And since we have a lot of new listeners and it's been a while since I've done this, I pulled some of the old information and also talked to my contact just recently about what Donna can expect when she does make that move from the intake facility to prison. I explained Donna's case and situation to her and asked her opinion of how she might be received in prison because she has seen this for over 10 years. She said that Donna's age and her wealth will make her very vulnerable.
Oh.
Some will get her to let her guard.
I would have thought it would make her not vulnerable, but now thinking about it, because we have interviewed this guy, he goes by Cowboy RC, and he was a prison sergeant. And sorry, Cowboy, I always get the state wrong. It's one of those W states. And Wisconsin, maybe? And no, it's not Wisconsin. Wyoming. It's Wyoming. And so he said that with Chris Watts, they will make him keep his case alive and make him come up with new things in his case, because we from time to time get things where he's saying like the mistress did it and whatnot, because they want him to get money from us to extort money from him. So other prisoners will start extorting Donna through her supporters.
Are down, and then they'll try to get money from her. If Donna is smart, she can use her money to build a comfortable life in prison. She just has to watch out for predators. She said, for example, a new elderly lady.
That's all you have to do in prison. You have to watch your back 24/7. It just seems like a really stressful environment.
At her facility was taken for nearly $1,000 before she realized she was in no position to make anybody honor their agreements. If you loan people money or try to buy a package in someone's name for an agreed amount, it makes you vulnerable. There is nothing beyond the honor system for them to repay you or give you items that you bought. Most people have additional vulnerability to prison hustle. Donna will learn who to trust and who not to trust. She probably won't need to hustle for money, since I'm sure Harvey will fund her life behind bars, so that will help her in some ways.
Yeah.
And since she is used to comfortable living, it is possible she could seek out.
But what happens if Harvey gets put behind bars? What happens if they go after Wendy and they have to pay for Wendy's trial next? I don't know. Stuff happens.
People to do her laundry, get extra boxes for commissary, canteen, extra food from the mess hall, and other tasks that she doesn't want to do. These people may charge her more than the standard going rate, and they also might steal her clothes and her commissary. She doesn't think Donna will be a very high risk of physical harm because Donna's not going to be a fighter. She did say, interestingly enough, with Charlie being a co-conspirator who's been convicted, fellow prisoners may send Charlie fan mail. She has seen that there at her prison with high-profile inmates. She says what you've seen on TV shows and documentaries about prison life is really sensationalized and is not really reality. She said for documentaries with real inmates, they always put on an act for the camera. The only way to really know how it is on the inside is to live it. She said when you leave county jail for prison, you have no idea how to play the game once you get to prison. While awaiting your transfer to prison, you can only replay regrets and build your fear of what is to come. And in her case, she had a cellmate who had been incarcerated in prison who tried her best to prepare my contact for prison. She said it was helpful in some respects, but the reality is there's just no preparing yourself. In jail, you do have some hope while you're awaiting trial. In the back of your mind, you think you're going to be acquitted. and then you're going to leave jail and just rejoin the world.
I think it's strange though that, I mean, she's saying that once you get to prison, there, you know, your hope is diminished, but we are hearing that our little Boone Goone is thinking that she's going to get out someday. So, and it seems like every prisoner that has life, and I have watched some prison docuseries where they always hold out that they'll get pardoned or their appeal will go through. So I feel like now she's going to put her focus on, like, put all her eggs in the basket of the appeal basket. So I feel like that's what's she's going to start focusing on next, and also trying to get herself out of Lowell prison to her beekeeping prison.
And we all know that's probably what Donna was thinking. But after conviction and sentencing, a kind of numbness sets in. And she said, this has been true for most of the women I've lived with and spoken with. You just want to get the transfer over. The hours on the transport bus is surreal, and the fear and the numbness take turns being in control. For her, there were metal shackles on her waist and ankles for the duration of the ride. Once the bus opens the doors, your shackles come off and you are placed in a group holding cell.
I just kind of, while she's saying this, I envision Sarah Boone doing the same thing. It just, the fear Sarah Boone likely felt gives me some satisfaction because of the fear that I know George felt, the terror he felt. It gives me a little satisfaction. And, you know, with Donna, I'm not as invested in Donna. I know, you know, I don't like her. She's evil. But I have looked into her case a little bit, and I do hope that Wendy goes to trial, and or Harvey. I mean, let's do a slam dunk. Let's just get a strike here. Like, come on, Florida, you can do it.
You are strip searched all together in one room. People are also questioning each other about their cases, how much time they have, gang affiliations. You can't bring anything with you except the clothes on your back if you have prescription eyeglasses and a list of medications that you take that are prescribed by a doctor. Again, just a reminder, this is specific to California, but from everything I've read, very general in terms of prisons all over the country. You're given a lice wash, and she said that smell lingers for days. Intake is to the point with staff asking point blank, if you die, who do we call? After processing, you're given a bedroll, and then you're sent to your building and your cell. For the most part, the first few days and weeks can be at a temporary building with other new intake.
I haven't seen any of Sarah's new texts, so that must be something that came out in text recently, that she doesn't have enough space. Oh, Lordy. I wonder if Sarah's trying to get to Miami, do some beekeeping.
Takes as processing continues. She says the minute that you walk inside the prison, everybody stares and they're trying to size you up.
Yeah.
You feel like you are on display. She said,
I asked Lindsay about that because, you know, you hear about the perp walk that happens to all newbies. They have to walk through those gates and walk by. And so Sarah and Donna both got the perp walk, the cat calls.
The prison is scary.
And I can hear what they were saying to Sarah. I'm sure they were ragging on her haircut. I am positive.
Humiliating and very humbling. You are not in control of a single element of your life except your private thoughts. One inmate described going to prison as being in a hostile country and you don't know anything about the language or the customs. She said newbies almost always make two mistakes: asking someone what they're in for and how long they have on their sentence. She says those first few days and weeks in prison, your body releases a lot of stress hormones and adrenaline on a constant basis, which can cause all kinds of mental health issues. She went through that herself, and now as these new arrivals come into her facility, she sees them constantly on edge, jumping in fear with every loud noise or anytime an argument breaks out. The adrenaline is just your body's natural way to prepare you for fight or flight. She said she has seen fights break out with new arrivals that never would have happened if those defense hormones coupled with stress were not at play. You have zero privacy, none. You use the toilet, you shower, somebody is always nearby, y'all.
Sarah did this at prison already? Or was this at jail? Because she's already doing this in prison. She tried to get her bunkmates removed from their room. They investigated her claims and found out Sarah was manipulating the situation to get a free bunk. Wow. She didn't waste any time, did she? Sarah's going to be the Karen of Lowell, probably by the end of this year.
I would explode. Wouldn't be able to do it. She said on average, it takes new inmates who have never been in prison a couple of years to really start to feel comfortable. First-timers frequently fall into a very consuming depression. The first few months in prison is a jolt to every sense you have. And jail just does not prepare you for prison. It is two completely different worlds. Prison overload is something that first-timers frequently experience, which is the overwhelming feeling of helplessness or lack of control of any area of your own life. The rules, the people, the overcrowded conditions, the heat, the substandard food, the pettiness of other inmates.
I like to watch Christina Randall, and I know that Christina Randall was in a Florida prison, but I don't think she was at Lowell. But she talked about having to sleep under sheets at night and wrap her ears and her eyes because of all the bugs and the flies that would come in during the hot months. I mean, Florida or prison does not seem like a wonderful place to be, and a Florida prison seems like a really hellish place to be.
The drunk idiots that are raising a ruckus, grown adults acting like immature children. People are cold, and the environment itself. The days seem endless and the nights even more endless. There is a consuming loneliness. There is a smell that is very unique to prison. The sounds and the fact that—
but I've got to tell you, because I had to go into prisons and do intakes jail. And there's a very unique smell in jails. Like, it's a baloney, dirty clothing, fart smell. It's just dirty hair, dirty clothing, and then mixed with some subpar cleaning stuff. And it was always humid for some reason.
it feels like it's never going to end. She says sometimes it's so chaotic in prison from sunup to sundown, it fills the air so bad you feel like you can taste it. And prison is constantly loud. You never have pure quiet. In jail, it can be quieter at times.
I mean, I'm feeling like maybe isn't Sarah in her element? I mean, Sarah's life is over. She could have had a life, but for all intents and purposes, for me, I feel like Sarah's never going to be self-aware. She's never like, or maybe she has time. I don't know. I don't like to write people off, but I just feel like Sarah's pretty much going to be Sarah for the rest of her life, and it's only going to get worse. Like, it's not going to get better. And I don't mean for her, I mean for us. Like, Sarah's not going to get better. She's not going to suddenly wake up one day and the unfortunate incident isn't going to be downplayed into an unfortunate incident, like a tragedy of murder that, like, I committed, like I ruined somebody's life. I ended, like that kind of, that's never going to happen. We're not going to get that from Sarah. We may one day get a religious Sarah who gets jailhouse religion. We might get that Sarah. And that'll be an interesting Sarah, because jailhouse religion, it's interesting.
Prison, not so much. And that adjustment can drive you crazy. They don't have earplugs in prison. Her go-to is to wet some toilet paper and shove it as far down in her ears as she can to try and drown out all the noise. She said the homesickness is consuming. You can't prepare for it and you can't avoid it. She said she has seen most people lose their religion as opposed to gaining.
We actually just looked it up, and it's not that they can't. It's that it was requested. It wasn't ordered. It was just requested. So it's up to the prison to decide if they're going to honor that. So we're not quite sure where Donna's going to be yet. But I like to muse that she's going to be with Sarah. Although, I mean, I wouldn't want to do that to any guards. So, but it's still like a good thought.
If you come in with a chip on your shoulder or you act high and mighty, you're going to be a target. Inmates will do things very early on into your sentence to deflate every.
I'm going to have to get this report. yeah, somebody emailed me and said they were able to, well, it might just be the family court stuff they can get, but yeah, we'll have to get this and go over it because you have won me over, Lawyer B. I want to know more about this report. Donna's tiny extra small ear canals accepting common toilet paper. You are very funny. Hello, baby. You've got me cracking up.
Bit of that. At my contacts facility, the first month in, you
I mean, the toilet paper in prison will probably like chafe her ears, her ear canals. Donna with chafed ears.
do not get commissary yet. You only get what is issued to you when you arrive. You do not have a tablet, no TV, no radio, no clock. Could be very different for Donna in Florida, but you guys get the point. She said prison is full of manipulators, and they are going to prey on the vulnerable, perhaps a 70-something-year-old grandmother. A lot of people enter prison thinking they have the advantage if they were good at something on the outside, but on the inside, you are likely to be so inexperienced and terrible at manipulating other inmates because some of these inmates have been in since they were juveniles, in and out their whole life. When you come in with an attitude, the older inmates will strip you bare on that level. You have to earn respect in prison. And nobody.
Do you think Sarah Boone has been stripped bare yet? I mean, we can hope. We can hope. So let's move on. I want to head over to Reddit as we close this out and see what people are saying over in Reddit. I like to go over to Reddit, and there's a new Facebook Donna, or not Donna Adelson, Sarah Boone that I like to go. So we're in Donna. I forget we're talking Donna today, not Sarah. Well, we are talking Sarah, but we're kind of focusing more on Donna. She's the star of the hour, Sarah. Sarah Boone. Donna's the star today. So suck it. If you ever see this. So over on Reddit, they're talking about Donna and here their custody status, October 14th, like we said. And what time did she get in there? Just at 9:08 a.m. So she arrived in the morning. She's in custody. She's at the Florida Women's Detention Reception Center. And she was booked. So wow. She sat around in her holding cell. No. Well, maybe you guys can explain to me the custody status. Was this just when they put her in the system? She arrived at 12 a.m. that she was booked. Okay, so she arrived actually at 12 a.m. and then she was put into the system. So she had to sit around for 9 hours. She's at the Florida Women's Reception Center in Ocala. Let's see. People are saying, too bad she can't stay in Tally. That would be poetic justice for her to be stuck in a place that she and Wendy hated so much. Can't wait for the mother-daughter reunion in Cell Block D. Everybody wants that reunion. That will be the absolute best day of my life. When Wendy joins her that day will be tied with the day I met my beautiful ex-wife. That's the best day ever. I hope she's as far as possible from old nasty Harv. That would be at least a smidge of some karma. But I feel like wouldn't Harv move to be wherever she is? He strikes me as that guy. It could be a processing center for now, and then she will be placed. The thing is that she requested to be near Miami. She wants to be a beekeeper. Also could be a far worse prison. Fingers crossed. Stephen Stearns, I don't know if there's a women's portion to this, but one of the first prisons, Stephen Stearns was the man who raped the 13-year-old for much of her life and then unalived her. He was sent to, we looked up, he was sent to a prison in Florida called the Appalachian or Appalachie. I don't remember which one it is, but that's supposed to be the worst one. And I don't know if it's a male and female dorm, but yeah. We can do a live where we look up the various prisons in Florida and where our Donna may end up. I'm also, Jumpsuit Pablo is one of my favorite prison content creators, and I have been trying to reach him to ask him to come on our show. The only way that you can reach him is over on Instagram. He doesn't have an email. So if any of you guys ever come across him, can you let him know that Amy at Power Network Parawoman Radio wants him on her show desperately because she loves talking. I love like looking at his work, and I'm sure he would have great insight about our Sarah Boone, and also for my Watts content creators. So if you guys can help a content creator out, I would love to get in touch with Jumpsuit Pablo. I've messaged him a few times. It's really hard. I've tried to like message some content creators over on TikTok and places, and even my messages get lost. When you get so many messages, you just kind of don't even look at them after a while. So I don't know. But I would really love him to come on our show. And no, you can't go down there. Stop it now. I'm going to have to wrap things up because the native is getting restless. I did a 3-hour live, a paranormal. We like Halloween time. I just get like into really spooky paranormal stuff. So we were going over some paranormal stories, and we did a 3-hour live. So also he's molting, and he's got a lot of pin feathers, and he's extra spicy. What, baby? What do you think? Do you think now that the live is wrapping, now that the live is winding down, this is your final opportunity to tell us, in a Boone v. Grandma Adelson, who would win a fight? If we put him in a cell and said, go at it, who would win? Boone, Adelson. No, don't lick it. Which one? Boone, Adelson. No. This is absolutely your final opportunity. I'm going to give you one more chance. Boone or Adelson? He keeps licking it. You don't know. I'm still going with Sarah. I'm going with Sarah only because I feel like Donna might break a hip because, you know, she's only getting Tylenol these days for her injuries. It's poetic justice that Donna is so entitled that this is her outcome, that this is where her decisions ended her up in a prison for now with our own Suitcase Sarah, aka our Blaine Boone. My new favorite word for her is Boone Goone. Goone Boone. You got 50 on Adelson? Man, I really wish we could do that. I you know, because I feel like I might win. I think I might take your $50. Oh. Who else has 50 on Adelson? I got 100 on Boone. No, I don't have 100. I've got like a penny on Boone because I don't have any money right now. Sarah was also kicked out of her Bible group for bullying. Oh, you know, Sarah's probably a full-fledged bully now. She probably is running Lowell facility. No, not really. Not yet, but maybe one day. I would love to bet on it. I would too. Sarah's still in close contact. I was recently updated. It wasn't just for intake. She continues to be defiant and confrontational. What a shocker, right? I'm shocked. I'm clutching my pearls. Not Sarah. The A+++++ student. You're still quite the boonie. I am too. And I cannot wait for Judge Jackson. But, you know, we've been following the case for, I don't know, I was just looking pretty much since it started. So we've got a big playlist on Sarah Boone. Although I have to say that not all of it's good, because I had a real hard time reading her letters. And this last letter that I read of hers, somebody else had to have wrote it. I mean, because the more I thought about it later, it was just the writing. I just didn't have a problem reading it. And her other letters were like word salad, written scribble. And I couldn't, like, something's up with that. Katie McBee at Lowell, and they can't be housed. Oh, I already read that. Sorry, Nat. Sarah also started volunteering to clean, but all she did was pick fights with the trustee till she got kicked out. She thought doing that she could become the new trustee for some reason. That's our chip off the old block. She does not disappoint. Our little Boone Goone does not disappoint. She makes me laugh. Like, if Gypsy Rose Blanchard, if she was still in prison, she would be somebody that would make me laugh. But when I watch Gypsy Rose Blanchard, because she got away with it, like, if I was watching Sarah Boone and Sarah Boone didn't get life and she was going to get out in like 4 or 5 years, like she was supposed to, and she was pulling all this crap, it would really make me mad, because I would know that Sarah, you know, was going to be back out into society and this was all for naught. But because Sarah Boone is going to be in prison for the rest of her life and she's pulling this crap, it makes me laugh. It's hilarious that there is a human being in this world. But and you know, she's not the only one. It's like, that's Sarah Boone, who we've got safe away in prison, but there's so many people out in this world that are exactly like Sarah Boone, living free. Not to say that I'm a better person. I've pulled my own BS in my lifetime, never any of Sarah Boone level, but I don't think I'm better. I feel like that makes me sound like I think I'm better, and I'm not. I don't think that. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think? I've got everything crossed, even my toes. I've got my foot up, but I can't get it up that far. Everything is crossed that they end up in a cell together. And if they do, Loya B, you and I got a bet. 50 and a penny. No, I said 100. 50 and 100. No, we'll do 50. We'll do 50 cents. No, we'll do $50. What's the point of doing 50? It's never going to happen, but it might. Yes, it would be definitely less funny if she was getting out. And it's not funny to the fact that George is gone. It's tragic. But I'm a Gen Xer, and I have learned to laugh at tragedy. That's what we do, because there has been so much tragedy in my life and trauma that I would much rather laugh at stuff now than cry, because I wouldn't want, like, I've been in that place where all I do is cry, and it's a miserable, miserable life. And so please don't think I'm laughing at George. I'm laughing at Sarah. Sarah Boone will try to be Donna's daughter to get money. Yeah, you know, Sarah's not going to be as rich as Donna either. So maybe my money might be on Donna, because Donna could hire probably someone to beat up Sarah, right? No, the George, it's just heartbreaking. It's just heartbreaking. Like, the trauma that man must have went through in his last moments. I almost, when I was 3 or 4, and our neighbors had a pool and I couldn't swim, and all the neighbor kids, we would all go into this pool and kind of hang out on the edges of it, the ones that couldn't swim, and then there was all these kids swimming. And one day I slipped away from the edge, and I remember I couldn't swim, and I remember like flailing, and there was this little girl in this floaty that just kind of floated by me, and I was trying to grab onto her, and she like pushed me off the floaty. I remember that feeling, and I remember that feeling going down and suffocating and not being able to breathe. And then the neighbor dove into the pool and got me. But yeah, that was terrifying. And that's what I think of George, that feeling, although I hope he passed out. And yeah, but no, actually I know he suffered. So I believe she did get off torturing George Knightley, and the fact that she took a bat to him on top of it all, something more was happening that night. Yeah, it was like a fetish of hers. I just wish he would have left, but isn't that the pattern of abuse? And actually, he might have been trying to leave, because that's when the abused person is at their most dangerous, is when they're trying to leave. So maybe that's why he got the bat that night. Okay, guys, I'm going to head out. Thank you all for being here. Thank you so much for joining me in chat. Be sure to give this live a thumbs up. Please consider becoming a Dragonfly. That's our membership program. I chose the Dragonflies because I was reading about Dragonflies, and it was amazing to me that at one time Dragonflies were as big as yardsticks, but they were able to adapt to their environment. So they have shrunk. They're from, prehistoric times. They were around with the dinosaurs. And so I kind of feel like I've been around for a while, and I feel like I'm somebody that's able to adapt to their environment, and maybe my power crew are some of those people. So I chose Dragonflies, plus they're pretty creatures, and I see them all the time. So that's why I chose the Dragonflies for us. And I would love to have you as a Dragonfly. I'm going to head out, you guys. If nobody's told you this today, and even if they have, I'm still going to tell you guys this. I love you guys so, so much. And hey, I'll see you next time. Okay? Bye, guys. And if you're not subscribed, why are you not subscribed? I would really, really, really love to have you as a power subscriber. If you really like my content, be sure to become a Dragonfly, and that's our membership, and it's $2.99 a month. I release all my videos early. We have special emojis over in the chat room. I kind of share things ahead of time with my Dragonflies, and I go live sometimes just for the Dragonflies. It's a way that I can support you guys and give you more content, and it's a way for you to support our channel. It's $2.99 a month, and I would love to have you.